Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Esther. Let's make some school lunch for tomorrow. Today we are making potato pie. So you start by cleaning your potatoes, chopping them and season them with some salt and boil them. Whilst our potatoes are cooking, let's chop up some tomatoes and some red onion. Once that is finished, separate your onions into rings. Now let's move on to our mushrooms. Wash your mushrooms thoroughly and remove the stems and chop them up into nice even pieces. For me, because I'm trying to make these dishes as healthy as possible and I avoid using oil whenever I can, I tend to cook my mushrooms with water. But feel free to use oil if that's what you prefer. Whilst our mushrooms are cooking, let's go back to our potatoes because they are cooked. I preheated my oven to 180 degrees. I had my quiche dish in the oven for about 5 minutes to make sure that it was nice and hot. Coated my quiche dish, as you can see there, with olive oil and then put my hot potatoes onto the dish and mash them. What we're trying to achieve is to get the potatoes as flat as you can get them to be and make sure that the potatoes cover the sides of the quiche dish as well. We're going to season our potatoes with some black pepper and bake them in the oven at 180 degrees for about 25 minutes. Our mushrooms are cooked. Let's add some spinach and cook it for about 2 minutes. Let's move on to our filling, which is going to be tofu. So for this recipe, I'm using silkened tofu, only because it gives you that, especially when blended, it gives you that smooth egg-like texture. Throw our tofu into the blender, season it with some paprika, some turmeric, black pepper, some black salt. Before blending, I also added 3 tablespoons of soy yogurt. This helps me get the desired consistency that I like when cooking this dish. I also added a generous pinch of chili flakes because we like our food with a bit of heat. In my house, there's always little hands going for my ingredients. Okay, so our base is done. We are going to add some cheese. If you know anything about vegan cheese, it's a struggle to get it to melt. So I tend to add a lot of cheese on the base because then it doesn't burn. It somewhat melts nicely. Let's layer up our pie then. After the cheese, we top that up with some cherry tomatoes and some onions. Next is our mushrooms and spinach. Just make sure that that is evenly spread. And now let's pour our tofu on top and spread it evenly. that up with more cheese and bake that at 180 degrees for about half an hour to 35 minutes. Our potato pie is done. Leave it to sit and cool down for a few minutes before you take it out. And before you take it out, make sure that you scrape the sides off so that it doesn't stick. Look at that. It's beautiful and it tasted so nice. I had to have a slice last night when I made it, which was Sunday. The rest was for school lunches and my lunch. And this pie is nice whether it's warm or cold. It's really delicious. If you were to make this pie, what would you change? What ingredient would you replace? What would you add? What would you remove? I'm interested to hear. Thank you for watching.